those people, they probably don't exist, right? But the cray-crays, and we all have some cray-crays in our life. You know, those are people who don't take their medication, and then they come into work, right? And then they think, oh, you didn't bust it because you thought about the cray-crays, right? Or you probably talked about the cray-crays. But the cray-crays are very dangerous people because they spread poison. They spread poison. And so one of the first principles of building this new capability is every time you touch somebody, you are affecting the brand and the future of every colleague that you see in this room today. Every phone call, every email, anything, everything that you touch shapes this image of who you are. And if I were in your shoes, and I don't pretend to have been through the journey that you have been through, but I have managed a $3 billion business unit. I have managed teams of thousands. I have gone through acquisitions. I've gone through bankruptcies. And you know what all of it really comes down to? People. Okay? If this thing is going to work, you guys, we have to show up differently. Why? Because we cannot change the people out there. We cannot change the cray-crays, right? The way that they're going to change is we are going to show up differently. So I want you to know, Bill said something about IT and IT being so important. I would suggest to you guys that you are probably the most important department in the system. I mean that sincerely. And I want to show you a little video clip that I think will set the stage for us to understand why information technology is so vital to the success of the school district, to the success of the education system, to the success of America, and to the success of the globe. So will you run the video for me, please?
around the world, around the world. First time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. The second time I asked him to sing, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what has more impact because you're walking in or towards your purpose.
Technology. And what about technology? Say it louder. Is marketing your image, is word of mouth, is really important. But think about the people that you serve. Think about the superintendent. Think about the administrators. Think about the students. You guys, the reason why you've got to get what you're doing down to a point of excellence is because the day is coming when the student will actually be learning from a watch. If you are not studying exponentials, that's something that you want to wrap your head around, because there is a university called Singularity University. It is in Silicon Valley, and these are the kind of things that they're looking at. Robotics. Surgery is being done by robots. They're looking at all new ways of communication. They're looking at all new ways of marketing to shoppers. The fact that we have got more than 50% of the population that's going to be under 30, what does that mean? It means that you guys hold power to shape the educational experience of the very people who will lead this country, who could lead the world. I mean, like, it is that serious, you guys. And so I'm not asking you to listen to me because you want to be trained. I'm asking you to draw a line in the sand today. A line that says, I am going to show up differently. Why? Because I have to be 2 steps ahead. You guys got to be 2 or 3 steps ahead of the people that you service. Because they're not going to know what to do. They're going to look to you to say, help me figure this out. They're not going to, you think a teacher's going to be like, okay, I've got this box thing down, I can do that? They're coming to you. So you, my friends, must view yourself as the subject matter expert. And as a subject matter expert, when you show up, man, I mean, it's like the E.F. button. I mean, okay, that may be old, maybe it's Facebook or whatever, you know. But when you speak, you want people to listen to you, right? You want people to view you as that thought leader. And so I don't think it's a question of, will you have to change? If you're thinking about, will you have to change, shift your paradigm. And the paradigm shift that you have to make is, what new capabilities do I need to build today so that I can continue to accelerate the value that I add, right? The value that I add. So I want you to shift your paradigm, and I want you to make a commitment, because remember you said you wanted to keep your paycheck and you wanted to experience more success, right? Remember that? We calibrated on that, right? Everybody still there? You got the dollar, you know, you got the money, right? You got the car, you got the movie for work, this is crazy, everything else. Okay. Well, you know what I'm saying, right? If we're still there, this is not optional. This is something that you're going to have to work on every single day. Now, throughout the course of the day, I'm going to show you why. And in the time that I have left, I want to talk about the why so that we can move to the how. But the first thing, before I move any farther, I want to ask you another question. You know, as a coach and as a teacher, you ask a lot of questions, right? How many of you remember the first day that you started your job in the Atlanta school system? How many people remember that? So Robert, you're fairly new, right? So we'll play with you, brother. Okay, so when you first started, what did you feel? What did you feel when you first started? You called everybody, brother, guess what's up? Right? No, right? Okay, what did you feel?
There was a lot of information to absorb.
There was a lot of what?
Information to absorb.
A lot of information to absorb. What did you feel in your heart? Why did you come here? going to be talking about that emotional charge, right? But I want to tell you something as a parent of two children who are now, Adam's going to be 33 and Mary Ellen is 29. I just put the pictures up there, but she's taken now, I think, almost, just pray. Yeah, so anyway. But as a mother of my two children, the experience that my children had in the school system changed my life. And let me tell you why. My son was born on November 17th, 1982. And when he came into this world, he scored a 9 out of 10 APGAR. Everybody thought he was just great, right? Next morning, I'm lying in the bed at the hospital. It was a semi-private room, and the doctor comes to the door, making the rounds at 6:30 in the morning. And he knocks on the door and pushes it back, and he says, "Which one of you is Mrs. Bourgeois?" And I did, stump or asleep or whatever, said, "I'm Mrs. Bourgeois." And he walked over to me and he said, "I'm Dr. Treadwell." And I said to him, "I don't know you." And he said, "No, I'm one of the physicians in the practice, and I'm on call this weekend, and so I was the OBGYN that performed the surgery because I had to have a C-section." And he said, "I've come to share some news with you, Ms. Bourgeois." And now I'm like, my interest is getting piqued because I'm, a young 22-year-old mother, and I'm like, okay, what are you about to say to me? And so he says this. He says, "You've given birth to a mongoloid." And you guys, I was too young and naive to even know what a mongoloid was. And then he went on to say, "Your child is not going to walk, your child is not going to talk, he'll never be self-sufficient, he's advanced mentally retardation, and we suggest that you leave him here." And so first of all, I said, not to impose my faith upon anybody, but what I said was, "You're not God." Then I went into, temporal and dose coma, okay, because I was having a tumult. But that day, when one person said, "Nothing good is going to happen," my life was changed. But then as Adam began to the school system, and we finally found a school in Plano, Texas, where everybody in the school cared. Every single person in that school cared. And they cared about my son. And the very person that the doctor told me he would never do this or he would never do that was doing everything. In fact, the administrators, they created this special position for him to be the manager for the wrestling team and the manager for the baseball team. And so he got a leather jacket just like everybody else got a leather jacket. He went to the prom with Katie. Katie was a trip, but he went to the prom with Katie. Katie tried to steal the boy's money. And you know there's a problem with that, right? But he went to the prom. He did all kinds of things. In fact, you guys, this is before technology was really evolving, and the teacher worked with the IT department to configure a way for Adam to express himself because his communication skills are so underdeveloped. You are important. You impact lives. Stop thinking about your job as just a Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day is I get up, I put myself together, I talk about the people that I work with the whole way to work. I try to, walk straight, but, I just can't help it. I'm talking about these crazy people that I want to go in and out and work with, and then I come in and say, "Hi, it's so good to see you, how you doing, blah, 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 blah." I can't stand that woman. If she calls one more time, does anybody have this kind of stuff? And then lunchtime comes, "Lord, I'm so tired. I'm so tired." Okay, I gotta go back to work. "Oh, hi, I'm back." "Yeah, no problem. I think I need to go to the bathroom. Let me excuse myself." Okay, and we go through that, and then we go home, and at home, we pop up, maybe a beer, okay, maybe a six-pack, all right, or we have a glass of wine, or maybe a bottle, and then we talk about the people some more. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? That is not living on purpose. So we've got to ask ourselves the question, what is the deep why? And there are 3 lessons. You're so good up there. I was just going to flip that. I love you, man. Don't even know you. But, you know, love you. There are 3 lessons that I want to give in this brief setup. And the first lesson is, why are you going to leave and do anything different? Or are you going to be the one to say that you're going to do things differently, and then before you hit the car, before you turn on ignition, everything that was happening or didn't happen today goes right out the door? So I'm asking you to step back for a second and ask yourself the question, why am I here? Why do I want to change? Why do I want to reshape this brand? Why? And I want to show you one more video clip that I think will really bring this home, and then we'll chat. Can we roll that video?
It's called How Do I Know? And a lot of times when people hear the phrase, how do I know, the next thing they say is what? How do I know what? But the key really isn't to know what. The key is to know why. Because when you know your why, you have options on what your what can be. For instance, my why is to inspire people to walk in purpose. My what is stand-up comedy. My what is writing books. My what can be going out with some friends to eat. In fact, another what that has moved me towards my why is a web series that we have out now called Break Time. So every Wednesday at 3 o'clock, you should subscribe to the channel. We do a series called Break Time on YouTube. So 3 o'clock, we drop a new episode. One episode in particular, I'm about to show you a clip to. We were in Winston-Salem. So Break Time, this is how it works. I travel the country, I do stand-up comedy, probably an hour and a half at an event. And in the middle of my show, I'll just sit down and start talking to the audience. And funny just happens. Or I'll meet somebody who's really interesting. So I met this one guy, and he said that he teaches music at a school. I was like, all right, you teach music, can you sing? And then I'm just going to show you the clip. Check it. So you're a musical director. Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Wow. That bro could sing, you know what I'm saying? All right. Now, what you give me the version is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick, if you know which version I'm talking about. Just see if that exists. Let me see what you got.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Right now I'm found, was blind, but now I see.
That is the deep why, right? Like, did you feel it? I mean, like, literally, you got the chills, right? You're like, I feel that. So if you're not feeling it, if it's all up here, you guys, and it's all in the brain, and it doesn't drop to the heart, you're not going to make any changes. You get to figure out today for yourself, why am I here? Why do I choose to use my gifts and talents in this way? Why? See, it's got to be more than the paycheck. In the paycheck, okay, we've got to get the paycheck. Let's not get it confused. We've got to get the paycheck. But it's got to be something more, something deep, something that drives you every day when There's a gentleman here, his name's Andre, my brother's name is Andre. He was like, I just don't get all these laws about, having a phone and driving. I'm like, you don't need to be texting or on the phone if you don't have your hands free, and drive. He was like, let me tell you something. And he's like 10 years older than me. He's like, I remember putting the 8-track in, shifting the gears, and having my hand appropriately positioned on some red bone. Okay? I don't know. Hey, I don't know, right? I'm like, boy, you know what? You were stupid. But really, when you think about it, that was us, right? Right? That was some of us. Okay, well, you know what I'm saying. I mean, some of us remember that, right? How many people remember just CDs? How many people remember CDs? Okay? You know what happened? The industry got disrupted because they weren't on purpose. They lost their purpose. How many people knew that Kodak was the first company to have a digital platform? Kodak. And you know what happened? Change happened all around them. And they said, oh, we're too big. It will never impact us. How many people have children that's crumb snatchers? How many of you remember being in Blockbuster on a Friday night? Yeah, big old line in Blockbuster. Now, where is Blockbuster right now? Bankrupt. Right? Why? Not because they didn't have the technical know-how. That's not what happened. It wasn't the technical know-how that screwed them up. It was the arrogance. It was a lack of accountability. It was a lack of being driven to results. It was a lack of a willingness to serve the very customer that had made them big. Right? And so, truth be told, you guys, this is really crazy. Blockbuster had not one, but 2 chances to buy Netflix for pennies on the dollar. Couldn't see it. See, they couldn't see it because they had lost their purpose. The deep why didn't matter anymore. And so the second lesson that we have to really wrap our head around, as it relates to this whole notion of change is that it's about emotion. Lehman Brothers. I can give you the whole list. You saw in the video I talked about companies that were around 40 years ago or not around today. You know why? Emotion. Pride. Hate. Let's be real, you guys. You guys been through a valley, right? Sometimes when you're in the valley, you feel like the only way that you can make it is if you've got that partner that you've been working with for 20, 25 years. That's my girl. be respected. People want to feel valued. People want to feel a sense of belonging. And the words that come out of your mouth create that experience. So the second piece I say to you is this. The lesson is put some emotion back into it and think about the experience that you are affording your clients. When they call, you go, you don't even have to say a word. They can hear you breathing, right? I mean, like, I'm not kidding you about this experience thing. I have made it up in my mind. I am not shopping and spending my money in any location where somebody doesn't speak to me. I have made up my mind. I'm asking you guys, you have to make up your mind both with your feet, right? You don't have time to say hello to me, then you don't have time to take my $102 or whatever it is. I don't care what the situation is. I don't want to hear that you're too busy. And your clients, the administrators, the teachers, the whole gamut, they didn't want to hear that you don't have time for them. Imagine if you call somebody and they, on the other side of the phone, acted like they didn't want to give you the time of day. How would you feel? What would you do? What would you do? Seriously, what would you do? Would say loud? Not support them. You'd go somewhere else, right? And what if one of your babies, all you guys have raised your hand and said you have your kids, where do your kids go to school? Where do your kids go to school? And if they came home and said, well, Daddy, blah, 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 what do you think you do? Well, what's up, brother? I see you. I see you right there. Mumbling underneath your breath. Say it out loud. Yeah, what would you do? Yeah. You address it head on. Oh, absolutely. Tell us more, brother, because we can kill you. Absolutely, he said. What would you do, brother? Yeah, and you'd be like what? You'd be passionate, right? And you would say, this is my child. Oh, you're not that much? No, oh, it's somebody else's child. Oh, you're more calm about it. So you would extend some grace. You would extend some grace. But hold it, grace. Right? Powerful grace. Right? I like it too. Look, this is very serious when it comes to your children, you guys. At least when it comes to mine. Let me tell you what. My daughter's 29. I wish I had the pictures. I'll have to show you guys some pictures. I'll have to find it. She's just, my kids are my everything. Like my husband and I have been married for 35 years. It's been all about our babies, right? And getting them in the world and setting them up for success. But I wanted my daughter to go in corporate America and be a sales executive like I was, right? And Marielle was like, Mom, I don't think that world is for me. I'm like, you need to get a job. Okay? You're out of college now, you need to get a job. So one of her friends was working for this organization. I'll leave the organization's name out of the story to protect the building. But this organization, Marielle went and she started working for this organization. And 3 weeks into her employment, her manager writes her up. And what does she write her up for? She's asking too many questions. She's challenging the process. She's too new to be doing that. She needs to pay her dues. Okay, she came home that day, my baby was crying, and after, I got her to calm down, and she told me, like, what happened? I snatched that out of the helicopter, Mom. I'm so sorry to say it, but baby, I sat down and wrote a 7-page letter, and I said, now you take this back to her, and we're going to send a copy to the president of the company. I'm not playing. Why? Because it's personal. And so gotta feel the emotion. It's gotta be personal. It's gotta be personal. But then we've gotta be connected. See, you know, in the Five Dysfunctions team, the book that Bill referenced, one of the things that they talk about is accountability to each other. And in my second book, called The Hybrid Leader, I talked about blending the best of male leadership style with the best of female leadership style, because I think that we need differently. But one of the things that I think that women do bring to the table as an advantage, and this is not to the belittlement of men, but we are naturally more collaborative. Now, we're naturally more catty as well. Okay, the spirit of love, right? Amen? Yes, yeah, we're naturally like that. But collaboration requires not just I got your back, but I can look at you and I can call you out. Just like Bill was saying, I can call you out. If you're not on point, I'm not giving you I'm not saying, well, you know, she had a headache or anything. No, I'm not giving you any excuses. Collaboration is, I expect excellence, and you better expect excellence of me. See, collaboration is about, I'm going to make you better, and you're going to make me better. Not that I'm going to give you some slack. That's not collaboration, right? And those of you who were here in 2009, how many of you were here in 2009? Okay, now in 2009, when all that stuff went down, it was like roaches. Y'all know how, yes, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know, the roaches was like the light came on and everybody scattered, right? It was like roaches. Y'all know exactly what, y'all feel me, right? And then slowly, a little pack of roaches will get together, right? Because it's like, okay, we're going to defend ours, because, you know, she might say, well, whatever. And then you start to have cluster after cluster after cluster, little cliques, trying to preserve your future. Now that is the truth. You went through that together. And is that something to be proud of? Yes, you went through it together. But now, you guys, what about the people who are coming in new? They don't have that experience with you. And so have you guys heard of something called the good old boys? Have y'all heard of that, the good old boys? Well, see, this is what the good old boy system is based on. When you and I went out, you know, we got in trouble together. We pounded the bar table together. We got history. That's what the good old boy network says. If you're not careful, you will create a good old IT network. And then anybody that comes in that tries to take you to a higher level, you will try and eat that thing. Little by little, you'll block their advances to make progress. Why? Because you wouldn't with us. You don't know what we've been through. Okay? Well, my friends, that day is gone. And a new one is gone. And so now you've got a choice to make. And the choice is so simple. The choice is embracing the future. See, this is what we do. We don't forget what has happened, but we learn from that. And then we embrace all the newness that surrounds us, so that we all become something bigger, something better, something bolder. And so if I asked you, what is the one word that you want people to say about this team, what would you say? Excellent. If I asked you for one word, what would you say? Adaptable. One word. Come on, brother. Come on. That's not covered. You want to be happy. You want to be joyful. Okay? One word. Yes, ma'am, right there. One word. Accountable. Over in the corner. All the way back to the top. Yes, sir. There's nobody back there, baby. Please don't exist. Got you. What would you say? Courageous? way that mirrors all of those words every single day. And how do we create a culture where when people are not aligning to being collaborative, to being great, to being ethical, to being supportive, to being all the things that you guys just said, how do we have that courageous conversation? How do we have that courageous conversation so that we don't pull each other down, but we lift each other up? Does that make sense to you guys? So my invitation to you is embrace change as the opportunity. It is an opportunity for you guys to have profound impact. And so I really sincerely hope that this first part, this first experience, has you sort of turning, has you sort of asking yourself, like, your conscience should be putting you in check right now. Your conscience should be asking you, okay, do I believe in this? Do I don't believe in this? Am I on? Am I not? And if it hasn't kicked in yet, by the time you get out to the break, it's going to start to kick in. And then it didn't kick in at the break. When you go to the restroom to get prepared to come back in here, it's going to kick in then. Okay? Because I'm going to be in your head, and I'm going to be asking you, are you ready? And I hope that your answer